Is Trump purposely pushing us into a recession? And if so, what does that mean for our money, our benefits, our finances, as well as why would any sitting president purposely push the economy into a recession? Believe it or not, there's actually some reasoning behind this, and this may be exactly what we are witnessing right before our very eyes. So I do want to discuss exactly why we may purposely go into a recession here and what that would mean for all of us, our money, our benefits, our finances, and for all of you here in the community that receive fixed income benefits administered by Social Security, or if you're low income, I do want to focus on what it means for all of us as well as the overall economy, because this is such a weird time. I've said this so many times before in other videos. So far this year, it's been honestly a little bit weird. It's been pretty chaotic, and a lot of odd things are happening, like Doge going around scraping together all this money, the cancellation of all these federal contracts and federal agencies, and people being laid off left and right. We're seeing a lot of changes out there across the board. However, what have we seen over the last several years here? Well, after we came out of 2020 and 2021, and after they printed $6 trillion of fresh new money, about 22% of our money supply, we saw the economy absolutely booming after that. Why? Because it's a lot of money chasing goods and services, a lot of money that was being spent. Interest rates were very, very low, and then we saw inflation go significantly higher, right? It topped out at 9.1% back in June of 2022. It's been coming down slowly ever since, but we've had a lot of financial issues since then. In other words, like nobody has any money, right? So for a while there, the economy was doing very, very good. However, it's been flatlined for several months now, where it's been doing virtually a whole lot of nothing, right? But as a result of that, we're in this situation where basically everybody's tapped out. Nobody really has any money right now. So for the economy to go from where it was, a very strong, robust, booming economy because of all that fresh money that was plowed into the economy, to go from that to flatlined, we're not going to go back into this massive hyperbolic or parabolic expansionary time where everybody's out there stimulating the economy and spending all kinds of money and things like that. That's just not how it works. We're not going to go from a very strong growth period in the overall economy to a flatlined or a basing type of situation to another massive growth period. It just does not work that way. But rather, it goes in this regular ebb and flow. Goes up strong, flatlines for a while, kind of bases around, and then it drops down significantly into what we call an economic contraction, an economic recession, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the thing as well. Remember a few years ago, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates aggressively, right? They raised them very aggressively and very fast, and they've been kind of sitting around with these very high elevated interest rates. I've talked about this many times before in other videos. Okay, well, what's the situation? We've still got inflation sitting high. We have the Federal Reserve coming in with interest rates still sitting high, right? Unemployment is kind of bouncing around where it is. Everybody's tapped out financially. Okay, so we're in this situation where what's going to fix this? You know the answer because I've said it so many times before in other videos. What is? A recession. Literally an economic contraction, a recession is what would reset. I've referred to that many times before in other videos. A recession is just like a reset button on a video game, resetting the overall economy. So we may see the administration acting right here, right now, with the implementation of tariffs and all of these other policies and things that are coming in. We may see the actions playing out right before our very eyes right now of purposely pushing this economy into a recession. Now, would it be a long, prolonged, deep, dark recession? We don't know. We don't know the details like that. Obviously, we're not going to know until we actually get into it. But the strategy behind this, and again, I'm not saying like for sure this is going to happen or for sure it's not, but I've said this very clearly in other videos, which is the only way we can really get out of what we're dealing with right now, which is financial turmoil, a lot of people that are struggling, is honestly a recession. That's what's going to do it. It's going to reset everything. But we may see us being pushed into that on purpose just so that we can get inflation come down very, very quickly. Prices will come down very, very quickly on a lot of different items. The Federal Reserve will come in and scramble all over the place, and they will cut interest rates aggressively, very, very fast, bring interest rates back down. And then all of a sudden, at the same time, they would likely pass, and again, this is not a guarantee, I'm just simply saying based on history, what they do with every single recession is they pass massive stimulus packages. Now, over the last several years, the stimulus packages have been in the trillions of dollars. If we look back in history, like 2008, 2009, it was hundreds of billions of dollars, and back in 2000, 2001, again, hundreds of billions of dollars. But now we're in the trillions. So I would not be shocked one bit yet again when we go into this recession. We see them come in, They print up again and appropriate trillions of dollars worth of stimulus and plow that into the economy. That's kind of the next step that we're at right now, because with the overall economy doing what it's done over the last several years, again, growing rapidly, expansion, people spending money, markets being driven up very aggressively, that's good. That's great. An economic expansionary time. That's nice. That's what we want to see. However, these economic expansionary times are not something that lasts forever. Usually they only last a handful of years, because the money, once it's all goes into the economy, that's kind of it, right? As soon as we're tapped out and we have nothing left to spend to stimulate further, that's when we get into the situation we've been in for a while now, which is we're just basing around, doing nothing. The economy is not going higher. It's not going lower with any conviction. It's just kind of going, sideways essentially for a while now. But that's when we need this next leg lower in this type of situation to really drive the economy down, reset everything, drive inflation down, drive prices down, drive the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates aggressively, way, way, way back down to a level that's actually easier to borrow money versus the very elevated interest rates that we're seeing now. Mortgage interest rates would come down, credit card interest rates would come down, and then the heydays would start again, okay? So that's kind of the situation we're in. So this would actually be kind of I'm going to say a winning situation. That's definitely the wrong word that I'm using right now. Kind of a win of type of situation. Now, here's the thing. Here's my anticipation on this. Let's just say that we enter into a recession here in the next, handful of months here. Who do you think would get the blame for that? The current administration or maybe the previous administration? I'm going to say this much. 100% the finger's going to be pointed at the previous administration. Why? Because we're like right here, we're be like, hey, it's their fault, right? It's easy to point the blame in that situation. Now, I'm not saying like it's what we should do. It's not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying that that's what's definitely going to happen, but I anticipate that's probably what would happen, okay? And then over the next 3 years, 3.5 years, whatever it happens to be, the economy goes absolutely wild again, like what we saw in 2001, things like that, 2002. After they printed all that money that gets plowed into the economy, we see this type of, massive growth again because interest rates have come down significantly. More money has been plowed out for all of us to use and utilize and things like that. And that's what happens. And then we see this massive expansionary time again. Now, here's what else is interesting about this. We knew this months and months ago. So back in like mid and late-ish 2024, so last year, we heard it very clearly out of the current president. He made it very, very clear, right, with Doge and everything like that. They made it very clear that it's going to be painful. It's going to get ugly. It's not going to be comfortable for a while. They made it very clear to us. We knew this for a while now. We've known this for many, many months. They've made it very clear the economy is not going to be great. Starting out, it's going to be painful, it's going to be ugly, a lot of people are going to possibly lose jobs and get hurt by this, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain. That's the whole purpose behind this. So this is literally what they've alluded to. We've known about this for many, many, many months. They made it very clear to us last year. This is maybe what's playing out right now, okay? Now also, I want to throw this out there super fast as well, which is we've seen these revisions on GDP. So just a couple weeks ago, it wasn't even that long ago, we had GDP coming in at projected growth of 2.3% for the first quarter of the year. Not bad. That's pretty good. And then they revised it a short time later down to negative 1.5%. Not good, right? Going from positive 2.3 to negative 1.5. And then they came in a couple days later and said, we're revising lower down to negative 2.8 again. So from peak to trough, we went from positive 2.3% growth to negative 2.8% growth. That's a spread of, 5.1% of a spread? That's pretty significant, right? So we're in this very precarious situation. Now, for those of you here in this community that receive fixed income, low income, Social Security, SSDI, survivor, spousal, SSI, VA, RRB benefits, what would happen with an overall recession and you and your monthly benefit? The answer is nothing. That's the cool thing about fixed income benefits is that a recession, whether it's, an economic contraction, a recession, whatever it happens to be, in these types of situations, monthly benefits are not impacted whatsoever. However, here's the little golden ticket that I want to throw out there. And of course, I always want to preface by saying no promises whatsoever. But if we look back in history, the play that they take out of every single recessionary playbook is what happens during a recession or economic contraction. They print money, they call it some name, American Rescue Plan, CARES Act, Heroes Act, HEALS Act, whatever it is, okay? They give it some name. Those are real names, by the way, of legislation we've seen over the last several years. A few of them did not pass. A few of them did pass. But anyway, they give it some name and they push it out in the form of stimulus into the economy, usually accompanied by a stimulus check. Again, no guarantees, no promises. But that's generally what happens every single recession we've seen in the last 25 years. So if we go into a recession, it would reset a lot of things. It would overall be probably a pretty good thing. They could point the finger at somebody else. They could take credit for the economic growth that comes after it because of all the massive stimulus. It would help us out financially by lowering interest rates, by lowering inflation, usually giving us a little check, a little wad of cash, calling it a stimulus check, whatever. And that's kind of the thing. Now, here's the thing. The only way that this economy, going from where we currently are right now into growth again, is through stimulus. However they happen to do that, they would need to stimulate in some way, shape, or form. To go from where we're at now to another massive growth phase is not going to happen on its own. We're tapped out. We've spent all of our money. We don't have any money. That's the problem. The only way that they can get growth again is by getting massive stimulus into the economy. They know that, which is why pushing us into a recession may be the goal to say, guess what? Recession, print her up, send her out, spend some money. Call it a stimulus check. Anyway, I want to keep you posted with what's going on here. I'm right here by your side every single day. I will continue to do what I possibly can to help you through this. I totally get it. It's weird out there. It's confusing. I understand. I'm right here with you. Okay? Anyway, thank you so much for your continued support. Please subscribe if you have not done so yet. It's 100% free to do so. Big subscribe button down below. Feel free to share the video. Big share button down below as well. Otherwise, check out the other 5,000 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. Down below in the description at the top of the comment section, I have some hand-selected and very popular videos for you there. Check those out. Otherwise, just have a nice day. Thank you once again for your continued support. I truly appreciate all of you. I want to be here for you any way that I possibly can. I will catch you again soon. Have a good